How's it going, everyone? Welcome to the Avoid the Fish YouTube channel. Sorry I haven't uploaded in a couple of weeks. I've just been pretty busy with life in general and just doing stuff with family and everything. But I am here with the Großer Kurfürst. It is finally here. I was very excited to get the ship. I was a little bit later than some people because I didn't have all the commanders ranked up for the patrons in the bureau. But I do have it now. I detailed a little bit more about the ship in the 2 episodes that I did for Road to the Grocer Kurfürst. I'll have those in the description if you haven't seen those already. They are pretty useful, but I'll jump right into the commanders here. I won't go over the history or anything for this ship because there is none. But so I had the options of Gunther Lutyens, Hipper, or I believe Hyde is the other German battleship commander. I didn't have him as an option actually. He is fantastic. I've looked at the build that you could do with him, and Hyde is an awesome option, but I unfortunately don't have him. So I use Lutyens or Hipper, and a lot of you might be thinking that Lutyens is a weird pick because he's a cruiser commander, but he has some very unique perks that really do buff this ship up. So I'll go over those. If you want to pause the video real quick and take a look at the tech trees that I use for both of them, go ahead and do that. And also, it's worthy to note that I used Andrew Cunningham and John Madden as the two inspirations. Cunningham increases the accuracy of your battleship, and then Madden increases the turret traverse time and reload speed. They both have the same survivability. Won't go into in depth, but 25% torpedo damage reduction. It's okay. You get hit by torpedoes a lot in this thing as long as you're not playing it like a Jean Barton backing, which I don't ever recommend. I don't think you can contribute to your team whenever you're just backing up at the beginning and maybe for most of the game. I would recommend being aggressive with the ship. That's how I play most of my ships. But you will get hit by torpedoes. So just know that 25% isn't great. You're going to take a lot of damage from torpedoes if you aren't careful. Moving on to artillery with my von Hipper build, my Franz von Hipper build. I have an 18.7 kilometer range, and I'm using the 420 millimeter guns on here. I tried the 406 millimeter and the 420 millimeter for just like 2 seconds more of reload time is a much better option in my opinion. You could experiment and see for yourself once you get the ship, but 420 millimeter was just fantastic. The range difference between the two, with Lutyens you have 17.3, that's just the standard base range. But with Von Hipper, I boosted it up to 18.7. I believe you can get that out to over 19 kilometers, but really I don't fire farther than probably 17.5 kilometers, like 90% of the time or more than that whenever I'm using this ship. So don't be too worried about the range if you're using the Von Hipper build or the Lutyens build. With Von Hipper, though, the 180-degree turn time for the turrets is 32.5 seconds. That's absolutely fantastic. You do not get that with the Lutyens. It doesn't have any boost with that. That goes down to the tech tree that I use, which perks I use with Von Hipper. Other than that, the AP shell damage is a little bit higher for Von Hipper as well, with a max of 14,850, where with Lutyens it's 13,500. So you're not really strengthening your artillery with Lutyens. With Von Hipper, that's kind of what you're focused on, is making that stronger. We'll go on down to the maneuverability. You are a little bit faster with Lutyens. The turret, or not the turret, but the rotor shift is also a little bit better, but it's only a second better, so it's nothing to really worry about. But speed-wise, Lutyens is 3 knots faster. But 27 knots with Von Hipper isn't bad at all. I wouldn't be too worried about that. And then concealment's the same for both of them. 15.4 kilometers detectability range by sea and 12.9 by air. You're going to get spotted with this thing. That's just kind of how it happens, but we'll move on to the kits that they come with, and this is where Lutyens kind of excels, and Von Hipper is decent because he has the base stuff. Um, he does have more HP per second heal as long as you get the legendary, and then I forget what the perk is called, but it boosts your healing per second. So that's up to 504 health per second or hit points per second, and that lasts for 28 seconds with Von Hipper. You have 2 of those consumables, whereas with Lutyens you do have a little bit less at 476 hit points per second of heals, but you do get 3 of them as long as you have the legendary fully packed trait. And then with the fighters, you get 8 versus 7. You're never going to get through. If you get through 7 fighters in one game, that is very impressive, let alone 8. They both last the same at 90 seconds, a minute 30, and then the reload time is 180 seconds. But here is where the difference really happens with Lutyens versus Von Hipper. You get 4 sonar, and the sonar is extremely strong with Lutyens versus 2 with Von Hipper, and it's still strong. You can detect ships at 6 kilometers. It only lasts for 60 seconds, so you got to be careful when you pop it because 60 seconds is not a long time to have sonar. And then torpedo detectability with Von Hipper is 4 kilometers. Whereas with Lutyens, with the tech tree that I showed you, you can detect torpedoes at 5 kilometers, basically, ships at 6 kilometers, and you get 4 of them. And it lasts for 2.4 seconds longer. Doesn't seem big, but it can be. If you can just barely spot that torpedo coming into your range, it's going to be spotted the whole time, even if your consumable dies down, or expires. As long as you spot just the tip of it, it shows up on the screen. It'll show all the way from 5 kilometers in. And also the reload time is considerably better at a minute, or it would be 2 minutes and 24 seconds versus the 171 seconds of Von Hipper. So that is extremely powerful. Like I said, if you play the ship aggressive, if you're within like 10-kilometer range of most of their ships, maybe that's a little bit close. But if you're close to that range, you're going to have torpedoes in the water coming at you, and the Legion's build is very strong at that point. It doesn't have the accuracy and dispersion that Von Hipper has, but it does have that strength of being able to see those torpedoes and avoid them. And it also has the Ingenious perk. I'll probably do another video and talk about Ingenious and how to spot torpedoes coming in whenever you have Ingenious, but that is very strong as well. I'll probably release another video after this one. Like I said, my gameplay is with Von Hipper for this video, but I'll probably do a Lucian's build as well and just get into the strengths of that build, because on paper it maybe doesn't look as strong except for the Sonar, but it is a very strong build and I would highly recommend it as an option. I played about equal amount of games, probably 10 with each commander, maybe even more than that. I've really enjoyed playing this ship so far. So jumping into the gameplay here, we are on the map Shards, I believe. I think that's what this one's called. We'll look at the team real quick. It is called Shards. Lightning and the Fletcher, those are the two destroyers they have on the enemy team. You always want to check that out, see what they have, because you will get torpedoed in this thing if you play the same playstyle that I do, which is aggressive. I disrupt the enemy team. That's what I like to do. Instead of sitting at the back and doing damage throughout the game, I get in there. I force people out of their positions so that my team can shoot them. I can generate crossfires like that. There are different ways to generate crossfires. It's not like being aggressive is the only way to do that. But anyways, guys, always look at what destroyers they have, because you will get torpedoed, and if they have any Udachis, play a little bit more conservative, because they will light you up. They can salvo you in 2 of their torpedo tube launches, or sets of torpedo launches. You will die if you take any of those torpedoes, or most of those torpedoes. The Z-23, he drops smoke here. It is very nice of him to do. It lets this Baltimore take shots without being spotted. I tested it to see if I could. Of course I can't in a battleship. Basically, smoke doesn't do anything for you as a battleship, but it is nice to have at the beginning so you don't get spotted early. But if you're going to shoot your guns, you will be spotted. So we're looking at the different ships here. In this gameplay, I'm using Von Hipper, as I said before, and I'm not using quite the same tech tree. I use the Reaching Out XXL, that's the 4th perk in the tech tree, instead of the damage control perk. And I found that, it's nice to shoot 19 kilometers, but usually I'm holding my shots for anything that's inside of 17 kilometers or at 17 kilometers. So I found that damage control party was a little bit stronger. I take this shot at this Alaska here, and you can see already with that first salvo, I did 14,000 damage to that Tirpitz. That's a standard shot. But with that Alaska shot, he was backing up and turning at the same time. I shot there just in the straight line backing up, and that's my fault. That's not indicative of the accuracy of these guns. It's not like the Bismarck where you have an accurate shot and it just lands on both sides. That's on me. This I don't know. This feels more accurate than my Monarch, to be honest with you. Maybe it's just because of the high volume of shells that you put out there, because you have 12 guns in total, that I do get involved most of the time, instead of just the 6 with the Monarch that I get involved, but it does feel much more accurate. But at this point, I know there's a Fletcher over there. This poor Z-23, super nice guy, dropped that smoke early for us, but he played a little bit too aggressive there. My destroyer strategy at the beginning of games is to try to get on the point, but if I get spotted by the enemy destroyer or they have a radar cruiser, I'm going to back off and see kind of what happens. But he played aggressive there, and unfortunately that Alaska and Tirpitz and Fletcher all just tag teamed him and lit him up. But right now you can see I'm alternating my shots. I already have, 33,000 damage. Alternating shots here is what you want to do, because ideally you want to bow tank for whenever you're shooting your front 2 guns, and then you want to open out, kick out the rear, and shoot your back 2 guns. I don't do that really effectively here. I'm getting greedy, and I'm just staying broadside of this guy. I'm trying to angle away a little bit, but it's not the best. I'm slowing down as well because I want to get these extra shots in. And he takes these shots, and I think he takes about 20,000 of my health away. Yeah, he does. He absolutely lit me up with that salvo, and that was just because I got greedy. And that's a lot of health. That's a fifth of my health from just playing greedy. I have done 50,000 damage, but I've also taken 43,000 damage, and I've already used a repair too. So I am tanking a lot of their damage, but I'm tanking it unnecessarily. Like I don't need to tank that damage there in the way that I am on broadside. You know, I'm getting greedy with my guns. But I see this Charles Martel, and he is in perfect position, perfect range for my guns. And bang, two salvos, my front guns and my back guns, and he's gone. It's a devastating strike. I hit his citadel when he was angled pretty well for me. The French cruisers, that's gonna happen. Any cruiser, it's gonna happen. You know, especially with these 420 millimeter guns. Even the Alaska, I use citadel quite often. And that Alaska gets spotted, and I start to turn so I can open up on him. And I forgot about the Fletcher. I was being silly. I even saw the smoke and didn't think about it. And I eat 2 torpedoes there, and that's another 20,000 damage that was needlessly taken by me from just getting greedy or not really paying attention. You can see that Jean Bart's in range of me, but I hold my shots there. He's 20 kilometers away basically. I can hit him probably with like 3 or 4 shells at that range. But honestly, if I hold my shots, I'm hoping to get this Alaska spotted again, and I can launch at him because he has big guns. He'll eat me up. I only have 30,000 HP left, and he will eat me up from that angle there. But that's what I chose to do here. You could take that shot if you wanted, but I mostly just want to punish this Alaska. I'm a little bit upset about the Fletcher as well, that I forgot about him, and it's, you know, fair play to him for hitting me with those torpedoes, but that's all on me. I could easily dodge those, especially with the Lucian's build. With Ingenious combined with your Sonar, it's much easier. But we spot this Alaska. He's backing up, very, very vulnerable, completely broadside to me. He realizes his mistake a little bit too late, and I citadel him. I take away 17,000, I think more than 17,000 damage on him. But that's half of his health that he had remaining, and so he's just got to buzz out of there. If I take any more shots, he's probably going to die. So I punished him. And going back to the Sonar, I don't know if you guys do this, but whenever I only have 2 Sonar or something limited like that, I hold on to it. I don't use it, and that comes back to bite me in so many games. I'm always like, there could be a better scenario to use this. With Lucians, you don't because you have 4 of them in total. But this Wichita pulls out. I don't know what he was thinking. He should have been hiding. I take away 32,000 damage with just my front turrets, and I'm still opening up my back turrets here. I am getting drilled by 3 different ships right now. But these guns are fantastic. They're going to citadel so many things, so many battleships, so many cruisers. You can't citadel destroyers, or they would. That's just how good they are. But I haven't been exposed most of this game, and it's poor positioning, bad gameplay. This gameplay showcases these guns, not my skill. It's not indicative of my skill as a player. But I die there. I was exposed to 6 ships at one time on the enemy team that could shoot at me or launch torpedoes at me. It's just not smart gameplay. And you can see that in the short time I was alive, I did 140,000 damage. It's still rising because my secondaries lit a fire on that Tirpitz. But it isn't good gameplay. It's not strong gameplay, but it shows the capabilities of this ship with the Franz von Hipper build, with the accuracy, the dispersion build. It's basically, you know, you focus on your artillery and you smack people with it, and that's exactly what happened in this game. But I'll fast forward a little bit here. There is another Großer Kurfürst on my team, and we'll take a look at his gameplay once we get over to him. There we go. And he's got the same camo as me. It's the Warhammer camo. I think it looks really good with this ship. I hope I can get a permanent camo at some point. But he's taking shots at this Jean Bart. Even angled like that, that Jean Bart will take some pretty significant damage. As far as, you know, Jean Bart's one of the best armored ships in the game. And you can see it got taken out, not by the Großer Kurfürst, but he basically made it one shot, if you want to use that terminology. One salvo, whatever. But now I'm a little bit distracted here. I don't show all the gameplay as far as being rotating my camera to watch the other ships. I was on my phone a little bit, messing around, getting some stuff done. I was going to go get dinner with a friend, and so I was just texting them back. But we'll see. They have 2 destroyers left in this game, and they're going to make it hell for this Großer Kurfürst. Destroyers will absolutely eat you alive if they're good captains, and these guys were very good. You can see a little bit later on how they work together here. But overall thoughts on the ship, especially I'm focusing on this Franz von Hipper build. It does not turn well. It's like a boat. It, it is a boat. It's a ship. It's not a boat. It's a ship. But it turns like a boat. If you're familiar with that phrase, it turns like a bus. Whatever you want to say. It is difficult to maneuver. And at the very beginning, I was just getting lit up by everything. Whenever I first unlocked this ship, and I've had to get used to it. I was playing a ton of cruisers before, and I'm gonna blame it a little bit on that. But honestly, you need to be aware 24/7 whenever you're sailing this ship around. And you can see I don't have it shown, but there's more torpedoes coming in. This poor guy, he had these two destroyers working in tandem. One of them would spot while the other one would shoot and try to light fires on him. They just made his game like a living hell. And very, very smart play. Even that lightning, 8.6 kilometers away. If he has HE loaded, he could get punished, but he has AP loaded, and I think he missed the shots there. It looked like some kind of poor dispersion. Maybe he's not using the Franz von Hipper build. Maybe someone like Lucian's or like Auto Celiacs. I didn't use Auto Celiacs at all, by the way. I found that if I wanted to do a tanky build, I was going to do it with Lucian's because he buffs the Sonar, and obviously Auto Celiacs does not do that. But these guys have both smoked up, and he is spotted right now by that cruiser, and so they're just lighting fires on him, or trying to light fires on him, and it's just making his life hell. You can see that. I mean, any battleship this is going to happen to. You're going to get bullied by destroyers. If they are smart, if they're good destroyer captains, you really don't have a chance. You can see all these torpedoes coming in for him now from the lightning, and it's just it's difficult to play this ship if uh, anytime you have two good destroyers playing against you, you're one battleship, and you don't have the support of your team, it's very difficult. But it's probably indicative of how I feel whenever I'm playing this ship. Is I get bullied by destroyers. I haven't been able to push destroyers effectively unless I'm running that Gunther Lucian's build, and the sonar, the spotting range of 6 kilometers is very useful. You can see them in their smoke. But with the Udachi meta right now and the reload booster, even if you're just bow on, they can absolutely demolish you and they can just ruin your game. So be careful of that once you get the ship. Destroyers are going to be very hated enemies, but that's indicative of battleship play in general. Anyways, guys, as I close out this video, I just want to say thank you for watching once again. I was going back and listening through that commentary, and there's some popping noises, and I think that's my mic, so I apologize to all you headphone users and just everyone. I try to keep the quality of my videos as high as possible. But closing thoughts on the ship. The 406 millimeter, I just don't find as attractive as the 420 millimeter guns. I would say that I played probably 3 or 4 games with the 406, and the 420 was just so much better in my opinion, and so I would definitely recommend those. And this ship takes a little bit of getting used to, so if you unlock it and you get really frustrated, have a little bit of patience, play maybe 5 to 10 games with it, and you'll just find how amazing it is. In my opinion, it definitely plays like a legendary ship. There's a strong feel about it that it's not a tier 7, it's a tier above, or maybe 2 tiers above, it feels like. I've really enjoyed it. But that being said, right now, because everybody is just barely getting them, or a couple people are just barely getting them, whenever you're in a game, if someone has the opportunity to shoot at you, they will shoot at you because you're in a legendary ship, so you can get melted quite quickly. So do pay attention to that. But thank you guys for watching. I will be coming out with the Gunther Lucian's gameplay video with the Großer Kurfürst to talk about the strategy there and also the Ingenious perk. But yeah, if you enjoyed the video, please like, comment, and subscribe. I really do appreciate feedback. Don't roast me too much on the gameplay here because I did not position myself well this game, but I wanted to show off the guns a little bit. But yeah, leave me some feedback in the comments. How can I make the video better? How can I make the content for this channel better? But thanks, guys. If you could subscribe as well, that is just fantastic. And have smooth sailing out there. See ya.